Hi everyone, welcome to another 30 minutes Pilates. Today's session is going to be all seated, so if you make your way down to the floor and just get yourself into a relatively comfortable position. If you haven't done a class before, then just make sure you watch the pre-class information video, which should be highlighted on the main YouTube channel. And we will get started. So I'm going to sit cross-legged, but that's completely up to you. If you want to sit with your feet out, you can. Completely up to you. Again, if you want to sit on a cushion maybe as well, or even use a wall, you can do that. So once you're relatively comfortable, we're going to start with our posture. So I want you to think about keeping the belly button pulled in, so we're not kind of slouching like this. We're going to lift the head up towards the top of the ceiling as well. So you've got that cord to the crown of your head and it's pulling your spine up towards the ceiling. So we're keeping the spine nice and long. We're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to pick the shoulders up towards the ears. We're going to push the shoulders back and then we're going to breathe out. Just let your hands and arms do whatever. So breathing in through the nose, picking the shoulders up, pushing the shoulders back, breathing out. Fantastic. So we're going to keep this going a couple of times. Just working with your breath. If you want to close your eyes, you can do. And just making that movement slightly bigger each time. So really thinking about squeezing the shoulders up towards the ears and sliding them as far down the back as you can. So we're getting that movement into the shoulders. And we're going to do 2 more. And we're going to slide the shoulders down the back. We're going to do our neck mobility. So make sure you're still sat up nice and tall. And we're just going to let the head float from side to side. So just drop the ear down towards the shoulder. Keep the movement nice and slow and controlled. If you need to hold that side more than the other, maybe you just feel a little bit of tension in this side, then just do that. Whatever your body needs. Breathing in through your nose, breathing back out through your mouth. Okay, we're going to go 1 more each side. We're going to finish back in the center. And then we're just going to turn the head from side to side. Making sure that posture is nice and tall still. And keeping the chin level to the floor as well. So in through the nose, back out through the mouth. Okay, we're going to go 1 more each side. We're going to finish back in the center. And then we're going to tuck the chin down. And then we're going to pick that up and tilt the head back just ever so slightly. So don't take it too far. Everybody's spine has a different level of flexibility. So just as far as comfortable for you. And as you tilt the head forward, just really think about tucking the chin in. So we're not going out like this. Tucking that chin in towards the chest. Rolling that down slightly. So breathing in through your nose, breathing back out through your mouth. Okay, we're going to do that. Once more, up and down. We're going to finish back in the center. And we're going to do our lateral flexion. Now you can place your hands on the floor if you want to make it a little bit tougher. We're going to lift our arms up. We're going to lengthen up. We're going to breathe into the nose. On the out breath, we're going to slowly lean to the side. We're going to hold here just for a second. And we're going to bring that up. And we're going to take that the opposite side. Again, just as far as you can go. Breathing in at the top. Breathing out on that movement. Think about keeping the shoulders stacked one on top of each other as you go. So we're not going like this or like this. We're just going straight over to the side. So you should feel a nice stretch either side of the body. If it becomes too much with your hands in the air, you can just place the hands on the floor or just the one hand on the floor if that's comfortable for you. And I want you to think about keeping both bum cheeks on the floor too. So we're going to go one more each side. I'm going to float the arms back down. Now we're going to do the saw, which we haven't done before. So make sure you've got a little bit of space. You're going to straddle the legs. So it's completely up to you how far apart you go. If you can just manage this, that's absolutely fine. If you can manage it a lot wider, again, that's fine too. Make sure you're nice and comfortable. You're going to be sitting as far up on your pelvic sit bones as you can. So you might just need to wiggle the bum back a little bit, lengthen back up through that spine. We're going to take our arms up towards the side. We're going to take a deep breath in. On the out breath, we're going to twist towards our one leg. We're going to take our arms round. We're going to lean down towards that one leg and bring that arm forward. We're then going to bring that back up and twist round into that starting position. And we're going to repeat the other side. So breathing in, breathing out, twisting that round, leaning forward, bringing that back up and twisting that back around. Fantastic. So we're keeping this nice and slow and controlled. We're breathing in the middle, we're breathing out either side. Leaning that arm forward, so stretching the hand just as far as it will go. Trying to keep the arms at shoulder height. Keeping the belly button pulled in too. Don't worry if you can't get that far down. Just take it as far as you can. So if it's just a little bit of a lean, that's absolutely fine. It's just the movement we want. Rotation, and a nice stretch. So we're going to go one more each side. Breathing in through your nose, breathing back out through your mouth. I'm going to come back, we're going to finish in the centre. I'm just going to float the arms back down. You'll probably feel that your shoulders are quite warm now too. So we're going to do our roll ups from seated. So we're going to go into our core work. So make sure you have enough room behind you. So you're going to start sat upright. You're going to have your feet flat on the floor. They're going to be roughly hip distance apart. Knees are roughly hip distance apart too. We're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to place our hands on our thighs. On that out breath, we're going to pull the belly button back and we're going to C-curve that spine. We're starting by placing the pelvis and rolling that pelvis down into the floor. Then the lower back, then to our waist. We're going to breathe in when we get here and then we're going to breathe out and bring that back up. So slowly curving that spine back up into that seated position. Stack the spine nice and straight at the top. Breathe in and we're going to repeat. Breathing out, slowly rolling that spine down. So vertebrae by vertebrae into the floor, into the mat. Maybe take it a little bit further this time, down towards the shoulder blades. Breathe in at the bottom. Breathe out on that way back up. Restacking at the top. If you want to make it harder for yourself, you can take your hands off your legs. Again, slowly lower that down. Curling that back up. Pulling the belly button in. Keeping the movement nice and slow and controlled. If both of those options are too much for you, you can place the hands lightly on the sides. And you can just C-curve the spine and bring that back up. So you're just tensing the front part of the body, pulling that spine and you're really crunching that forward and then you're bringing that back up again. Try and put a little bit of pressure in the hands but nothing too much, just lightly placing them there, bringing that back up. Okay, we're going to do one more and we're going to roll that all the way down to the floor. Fantastic. We're just going to take a second here just to take a couple of breaths. You might want to just extend the arms and the legs. Take a nice long body stretch. So the next exercise is called swimming, or if a lot of you go to the gym, you'll notice dead bugs. So we normally do this on all fours. We're going to do it the opposite way around today. So we'll lay on our back. We're going to think about keeping the belly button pulled in, pushed down towards the floor, and we're going to tuck the pelvis slightly under as well. I want you to pick your feet up off the floor, so you're in that nice tabletop position. We're going to take our hands up as well. We're going to take a deep breath in. On the out breath, we're going to extend our one arm back. We're going to bring that back. We're going to do the opposite arm. So taking the arm out, bringing that back. And we're going to do the same with the leg. So breathing in, breathing out, extending that leg, bringing that back in. And the opposite side. So extending the leg out nice and slow, bringing that back in. Fantastic. You can carry on going arm, arm, leg, leg. Or if you want to increase, you can do opposite arm and opposite leg at the same time. It can sometimes be a little bit of cerebral confusion. But just go with it. Keep it nice and slow and controlled. We're keeping that belly button pulled down towards the floor. So you want to make sure there's no gap underneath. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing back out through your mouth. Making sure the arm and the leg are working at the same pace. Keeping the belly button in, keeping that core engaged. If it becomes too much, just go back to doing just the arms, just the legs, and just take that back a level. If it becomes too easy, just make it even slower. So just see how slow you can make that movement. Maybe counting to about 4 or 5 on the way out and 4 or 5 on the way back in. You'll notice how much more difficult that is. Okay, we're going to go 2 more each side, or if you're going around, we're just going to do 1 rotation, arm, arm, leg, leg. And keeping that belly button pulled in, breathing through your nose, breathing out through the mouth. Once you're done, just tuck the knees in towards the chest, wrap the arms around, and just take a couple of deep breaths here. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to do our glute bridge next. So we're going to place our feet flat on the floor. I'm just going to place the arms down by the sides. I want you to wiggle your shoulders away from your ears as well. And just think about pinning the shoulder blades into the floor. So your feet and your knees are going to be roughly hip distance apart, and the knees are going to be facing straight up towards the ceiling. So we're going to take a deep breath in. On the out breath, we're going to slowly curl the pelvis up. We're going to push through the feet, and we're going to squeeze the glutes. And we're going to peel the spine up off the floor to the top. Breathing back in here, breathing out, and slowly rolling that back down again. Fantastic. So breathing in at the bottom, relaxing, breathing out, pulling the belly button in, slowly rolling the pelvis up, pushing through the feet, squeezing the glutes the whole time, squeezing at the top, breathing in, and then breathing out on that way back down. So we're keeping the movement nice and slow and controlled. We're not doing hip thrusts. So we're not just pushing the pelvis up towards the ceiling. We're rolling through that spine from the bottom all the way to the top and back down again. So you want to imagine that your spine is like Velcro. You're pulling it from one end all the way to the other. Push through the feet, squeezing the glutes, holding it at the top for a second. Placing that back down again. I want you to think about shrink wrapping your midsection. So you're really trying to make this really tight. So you're really tilting this up. You're trying to keep the ribs down nice and tight in that midsection. I also want you to think about making the movement up and the movement down roughly the same tempo. So maybe try counting to about 4 or 5 on the way up, and then about the same on the way back down. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. Make them just as good as the first ones. Really curling up and down that spine, squeezing the glutes, pushing through the feet. Once you've done the 2, we're going to just do a quick glute stretch. So we're going to pick our one leg up off the floor. We're going to place that foot across the opposite thigh. We're going to push that knee away. If you want to stay here, you can. Otherwise, you can pick the foot up off the floor and just take the hands behind that thigh. Bring that leg in towards you. You should feel a nice stretch in this area. So in that glute, in the hip, maybe into the lower back too. Okay, we're going to place the feet back down and cross that leg. We're going to go the opposite side. So pick the other leg up off the floor, place the foot across the thigh, push the knee away. If you'd like a little bit more, pick the foot up off the floor and just take the hands around that thigh. And take some deep breaths here. And place the feet back down on the floor and uncross those legs. So we're going to do something called swimming arms now. So you'll stay on your back. I'm going to show you sat up so you can see me better. You're going to have the knees bent. We're going to place the hands down by the sides. We're going to breathe in on the out breath. We're going to bring the arms up. We're going to keep that going all the way overhead. We're going to turn that round, and then we're going to swim the arms down the side of the body all the way back down. Fantastic. So I'll show you that later. So breathing in, bringing those arms up, taking them over. I'm going to end up hitting the plant. Make sure you've got some room for this one. Bringing that back round. Fantastic. So we're going to keep this nice and slow and controlled. I'm going to keep the belly button pulled in towards the spine. We're going to try and keep the hands off the floor the whole time. Breathing in through your nose, breathing back out through your mouth. I want you to think about keeping the belly button pulled down towards the floor as well. So when the arms go up and overhead, I don't want to see any twerking. So we're not lifting that belly up off the floor, we're keeping that down. We're taking that round. So all the movements coming from the shoulders and the arms, the rest of the body isn't moving at all. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. And then we're going to take that round the opposite way. So we're going to start with the hands by the sides. I'm going to lift the hands up all the way above the head. I'm going to bring that down through the middle. So again, keeping it nice and slow and controlled. You can turn the hands round the opposite way this time if you like. So you can start with the palms facing up, taking that round, bringing the hands down through the center. Maybe just play with the hand positions a little bit for you, depending on your shoulder mobility. So breathing into the nose, breathing back out through the mouth, keeping the core nice and tight, pushing that lower back down into the floor. Keeping the movement nice and slow and controlled. Okay, we're going to go 2 more that way. going to place our hands down by our sides. I'm going to do our hip rolls. So I'm going to do this way around so you can see me a little bit better. So we're keeping our feet up, flat, and knees up. We're going to take our hands and we're going to interlace our fingers and we're going to place them on the bottom of our rib cage. Kind of imagine you've got a seat belt. We're then just going to let the knees drop towards the right hand side, just slowly taking that over just to about 2 o'clock. We're going to bring that back into the centre. And then we're going to take them the other side roughly to 10 o'clock. Bring that back up. Fantastic. So take that over nice and controlled. Breathing into the nose. Breathing back out to the mouth. Hips will lift up off the floor slightly. It's absolutely fine. This should feel quite nice and comfortable. Maybe see if you can take the knees slightly further. But just keeping that controlled motion. Keeping the ribs down, keeping the upper part of the body nice and still. Rolling the hips side to side. Breathing in. Breathing back out again. So keep that going. Keeping the hands on the rib cage. And just slowly letting the knees drop from one side all the way over to the other. If you do have any back problems, you can do this being sat up. So you can come onto your elbows and you can just let the knees rock from side to side. It should feel quite nice on the legs, on the hips, on the spine. We're going to go one more each side. I'm going to finish back in the centre. I'm going to do our lower back release. So I want you just to bring both knees in towards your chest, take the arms round and just rock side to side slightly. And just think about rounding the back a little bit, so you're just pushing the lower back into the floor. Okay, we're going to place our feet back down. We've got one more core exercise and then we're going to do our hamstring stretches. So placing our feet flat on the floor for now, we're going to think about pulling that belly button in, down towards the floor, getting rid of that gap in the lower back. We're just going to place our hands lightly on the floor either side. We're going to take a deep breath in and pick our feet up. We're going to do our toe taps. So breathing into the nose, breathing out, we're just going to tap the foot down. Bring that back into the centre. Now I want you to think about keeping the knees at a right angle the whole time. So the movement is coming from the hip joint. So what I don't want to see is this. We're not bending the knees. The leg is moving as one. So imagine you've kind of got an apple or something underneath the knee. And you're just holding that there. The whole leg is moving. Breathing into the nose, breathing back out to the mouth, keeping that belly button down. Keeping the movement nice and slow and controlled. Okay, we're going to do 2 more each side. Breathing in through your nose, breathing back out through your mouth. And once you're done, I'm just going to place the feet flat on the floor again. Have the knees bent up for now. If you do want to increase the hamstring stretch, you can straighten both legs, but we'll start with the knees bent. So I just want you to take one leg up towards the ceiling. And you can have the foot flexed or pointed, completely up to you. And just place the hands lightly either side of the thigh. So if you like the leg that's bent up, you can straighten that out along the floor if that's more comfortable for you. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Okay, we're going to take the leg across the body towards the opposite shoulder. You should feel a stretch down the outside of the leg. Okay, we're just going to take 2 deep breaths here. We're going to bring the leg back into the centre. We're going to take that all the way out to the side. And just support that with the hand. Again, you should feel the stretch down the inside of that leg. We're going to take 2 deep breaths here, so in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then going to bring that leg back into the centre. And place the foot on the floor. We're going to switch sides, so bring that leg up, straighten that leg up. Again, if you'd like to straighten the leg out that's bent up on the floor, you can. Place the hands just lightly either side. And again, if you'd like to point or flex a foot, whichever is the most comfortable for you. Take some deep breaths here. Okay, we're going to take the leg across the body towards the opposite side. You should feel a stretch down the outside of that leg. I'm going to stay here for 2 breaths. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then I'm going to take the leg all the way out to the side. I'm just going to support that with that one arm. You should feel a stretch down the inside of that leg. So we'll hold it here for 2 breaths. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. Bring that leg back up and place the foot on the floor. We're going to roll over onto our side and we're slowly going to push ourselves back up. Fantastic. So we're all done. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. If you do have any questions, any comments, please just drop them in the comments below. If you do have any requests for any specific type of class you'd like, we have a pregnancy option class already available, but if there is any more you'd like, again, just let us know. Thank you very much for joining. Bye.